Clara sprints out to the walled garden and Ruth lumbers after her. They leave the door open. Clara flings gravel at birds. Ruth runs her hands through the ivy. The air in the kitchen grows dank, though nothing has changed in the weather. The wind is still brisk, the sea air bracing. Beyond, rooks still caw and squabble over the tulip sheds. The light still seeps its thin yellow through the open door onto the grey flagstones. Henrika turns her back to Margareta. By habit, Iris glances into the mirror, hoping to snatch a view of some peppery household spirit, but instead she sees the corner of Henrika's face. Henrika is vexed, both angry and anxious. The beautiful brow is furrowed, and Henrika pinches her lower lip between her teeth, thinking. "A good dose of chamomile will settle her down," says Margareta nonchalantly. "Don't lecture me on the management of my own child," says Henrika in a cold voice, and she sweeps from the room. "I was trying to assist," says Margareta after her, with exaggerated politeness. "Mamma," says Iris, "you're not minding your tongue." "Who are you to tell me to mind my tongue?" says Margareta, languorously. "What's gotten into you? You always say that we might be tossed out of here if we're not well behaved. There are others who can do the work we do." Margareta puts aside the butter churn. She folds over a cloth to reveal a pair of dead hairs roped at the ears. "There are few certainties in our lives, to be sure, but we won't be turned out for a moment's honest remark," says Margareta. "This isn't like you," says Iris. "You're the one who worries in August if the spring will come soon enough next March." Margareta beckons Iris near and whispers, "Haven't you noticed that Queen Bee Henrika is with child?" Though Iris thinks herself clever, she hasn't noticed this. Oh, it's early yet, but at the moment Henrika can't abide the look of food staring up from the kettle or spit. She can't afford to turn me out now. I'm too well trained in the ways of her household, and this feast is very important. Iris doesn't answer. She doesn't like her mother to be fawning, but for her mother to be impertinent is equally upsetting. "She's our hostess and our protector," says Iris at last. "Can't you like her?" "Like her? And what is there of her to like? That her father did handsomely in business? That she has pretensions toward a well-shaped mind? That she coddles her daughter and swaddles her into an unusual infancy? That she does the girl no good? The girl is rotten, or can't you see it?" "So you notice Clara's unhappiness, at least," says Iris. "Put it like this," says Margareta. "If Ruth is trapped by her afflictions to hobble and bawl through all her days, Clara is trapped as well. She's expected to be endlessly docile. Who knows why? Because she's so attractive? We're all in our own prisons, I suppose, but Clara's is made worse for her by the fears and strengths of her mother, and maybe by her father's weakness." "And what is the shape of your prison?" says Iris. Margareta rubs her nose and says, "There was always a window. You can endure any sort of prison if you can apprehend a window in the dark. Your father was that window for me. When he died, the window was shut. Oh, I know, you ache at the mention of Jack Fisher, but even so." "You're going to go the rest of your life without another window somewhere in the dark?" "You look for it," says Margareta, suddenly impatient with such prattle. "I'm busy now. I have to skin this brace of hares." Iris sits at her mother's side and watches. "Tell me what to do. I should know about this," she says. So you may find yourself at home in some burgher's kitchen when you are my age, preparing food for guests who won't see your face or ask your name, says Margaretta. Why should I teach you a whit of it? Because I'm ugly, says Iris, and I have to know these things, so I can take care of myself some day. Margaretta runs her hands over the hairs, as if she's trying to keep from tearing them apart with her fingers. She breathes heavily. Then she says, Well then, my dear, look carefully. Mother and daughter labour over the carcass, removing unwanted extremities, bones, organs. Margaretta shows Iris how to peel back the skin of the skull, how to handle the flesh so it doesn't pull away from the bone too soon, how to rub scatterings of sage, thyme and tarragon to turn a dead animal into a sumptuous meal. After a while, Henrika pads back into the kitchen. They all work side by side without speaking, selecting the most perfect fruits, withdrawing the bread from the side oven, hurrying with the newly purchased quails, for the hour is approaching when young woman with tulips will be unveiled for the ravenous merchants.